What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new edition of the YSN Power Hour, proudly powered by our friends over at Toyota Warren. DJ Yoakley with you on this Tuesday edition of the Power Hour, and I'll tell you what, we got a great show for you. We have the Curbstone coaches guys are in the house, so we're going to talk about what's coming up for Curbstone coaches with another edition of Kicking the Curb, or Kicking to the Curb, something along those lines. I always forget the name of those great names that we come up with like never before. But the main event, the feature of today's broadcast, we finally herded him. He's been in every gym, presumably in the country. He's been in every single YSN family gymnasium, football field, baseball, softball diamond as well. We sit down with Gary Leininger, the legend, the Salem legend, the Dairy King, if you will, of Lisbon. We sit down with Gary and get to talk to him for a little bit about what kind of goes through his mind and how he got started, the master photography, the best of what we do at YSN. You see through the lens of Gary Leininger. So we're going to sit and talk to him for a moment. In fact, let's get to it. Let's get right down to it. Do it now as we bring on the split screen. There he is, the Fly himself.
I am here.
What's up, buddy?
Thanks for all that love you just gave me on that one.
Well, so let's start with how you got involved with YSN, because I remember it vividly. I remember thinking, this weird dude at Salem just... You just come out and said it. You just say, hey, I want to help you. How can I help you? We were at
a signing in Salem.
Johnson, the older Johnson.
Oh, yes.
It wasn't Jackson. Turner Johnson. Turner Johnson signing, and you said, hey, I'll send these over to you if you want. And then from there, the friendship and the relationship just took off. So for you, and what's crazy is, every time we talk, you always say, hey, I was just at so-and-so. And they just think YSN is so great. And most people don't understand this. I'm going to put you on the spot here. You don't do this. You don't get paid. This is just a show of love for not only what we do at YSN, but for YSN itself, and obviously for my family and that you've become a part of. But what is it about YSN that keeps you going and you don't even think about the financial aspect of it?
This YSN's the greatest thing that you could ever come up with for these high school kids. I was never a high school ball player or anything like that, but all my friends were, and I went to everything. And this now, what we do now is, you can't even explain it, because everybody loves it. When I go take pictures, I have my YSN gear on, and people will come up and they'll say, hey, we love your show, we love this, we love that. And you've just taken us way over the top.
Well, you've been a huge part of that. I don't want to. I wish I could take all the credit for it, but I will never, because there's been so many aspects. But Gary, what you've been able to do for the people of this valley, and the number of pictures that you've taken for the people of this valley, and the people of YSN, will never. Even if we became zillionaires, I don't think I'd ever be able to repay you. What is it about the photography aspect that really got you involved in it, and then keeps you going?
Maybe back in high school, when I'm 66 years old, I graduated in 1975, so I'm a lot older than everybody here. But I remember getting a camera and taking pictures, and my buddy J.D. Creer at the Salem News would get me a pass to the old Indian Stadium.
Municipal, right?
Yep. And go up there, and I just started taking pictures, and I just fell in love with it.
So what from that aspect, because you were Salem News, Morning Journal, like all those, still to this day,
yep,
do a little bit of work for them. What's been your favorite assignment, or some of the most memorable ones you can remember?
Well, going to the Browns games at the old stadium was always, it was crazy up there. If anyone remembers that old stadium, it was a dump. And I remember going up there for a game, and I'm sitting in the dugout, because that's where you sat. And I knew somebody came up beside me out there, and I look, and it's Bill Cowher. He was a Steeler coach. It was probably his second year. And he sat down beside me, and I didn't know what to say to him. And he started talking about this. Cleveland Stadium was the favorite stadium he's ever been in. He loved it because he coached there. He was a special teams coach before he got that Steeler job. So I remember that one, and I remember going to an Indians game, and it was raining before the game and sitting in the dugout.
This is my favorite. I love this.
And I have this LSU baseball shirt on. Albert Bell comes out, walks by me, looks at me, walked away, and then he came back. He said, "Hey, I used to play baseball at LSU." I said, "I know you did." Greatest guy. I mean, he was that day. He was a very good guy. One other time I was up there, and he told me I'm not allowed to take a picture of him only during the game, not before, not after. So he might have been a little bipolar. Or
Oh, he was crazy.
Yes,
Well,
he was
my
crazy.
Still my favorite baseball player ever was Albert Bell.
Albert.
Loved him. Loved him. Could not get enough of him.
He was a stud.
What about high school? And I know you've done a lot of amateur sports and things of that nature, but like, what are some of the assignments or the games or shoots that you've gone on that you really appreciate? Like in your mind, like checking the box of things that you've wanted to do.
You know, I've been down to Columbus for boys and girls basketball. We went the year that West Branch made it, the COVID year, and then they got canceled. And I don't. All these playoff games, you know, we go everywhere. So they're all.
You got to shoot the state championship this past year. Football.
Yes, football and in yes, Massillon. That was a heck of a game. Massillon's they're not too bad of a team. And then we did softball also this year.
And
South
then,
Range and Austintown.
So for you, when you're going to these games and you're YSN through and through, what are some of the things that you're looking to capture? I mean, from a photographer, like you've given me your camera before, and I can't do what you do. Like it's impossible.
Well, I'm not a genius.
From that standpoint, it's just challenging. So like, what are you looking for? And are you self-taught, or do you kind of pick up things here and there? How do you do it?
Everyone, you know, I always talk to people all the time. A young kid, you know, I'll say, "Hey, I like to lay on the ground and get this shot," and stuff like that. And before people would tell me the same thing, you know, they'd always try to help you out. But I'm more so self-taught.
Yeah.
And before, you know, my shot was I want that Sports Illustrated shot on the cover. And now Anthony and DJ are on my butt saying, "Hey, we want them ISOs, you know, we want that kid's face." So I'm trying to work on that. It's a hard habit to break, but I'm getting a little bit better at that.
Well, it's like I've told you, and I got this from going to college and learning the rule of thirds and all that stuff. But people want to see face. Yes. I mean, in football especially, it's so challenging because you can never see those faces. But if you get that one where the kids turn to you and you can see his eyes through the helmet, every parent is going to not only buy that picture, but they'll keep that picture for the rest of their life. And that's what I think that, you know, ultimately we have a sales page for pictures because I think what the work that you do, and right now you're kind of, you are the guy on that page. All the pictures come to you or from you. But we've got great relationships with, we talked about Jimmy Joe Savage down in East Liverpool. We've got Mahoning Valley Sports with Charles Marsh. You know, but you're the guy. So it's funny when you were talking to me before, like you and Anthony talk every Sunday and he gives you places to go and you never say no. And I'm trying to figure out why that is.
Because I love what I do. I love the Dairy Queen, having the Dairy Queen.
We'll get to that in a second.
But taking these pictures for YSN, people just are so excited over all this, what we do. And we get bigger and bigger.
And you tell me that all the time. Brick by brick, brother.
Well, that was your saying.
Well, it is my say. But it's one of those, like, you adopt all the I don't know, what the verbiage of YSN. But you've really adopted what it means to be part of our family. And you give everything. I mean, you brought shirts. There's a bag of shirts and stuff. Not for necessarily YSN, but for my family. And you do this all the time. But you do it through the Dairy Queen, the Lisbon Dairy Queen, which your family's owned for how many years?
I think this will be year number 45.
Coming up.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. And you work there every single spring, summer, fall, usually till about October 31st, usually till Halloween. Yep. But it's something that's always obviously near and dear to your heart. But you get kind of a vacation during the winter months.
Vacation.
What do you
I need that
other
summer
than
vacation, not winter?
Right. Well, what do you do other than take pictures for YSN and you know the news outlets? during winter vacation?
Well, right now, just my wife has me doing all this stuff at home.
Chores.
Honey-do list.
Yep.
So I'm doing that. I just get excited. Like tonight, I think I'm going up to Jackson Milton to do pictures. I don't want Anthony mad at me if I don't go. So just look forward to doing stuff like that.
Let's talk about your family. I know they mean a lot to you, and certainly you mean a ton to them. You have, what, 3 children?
3 children.
Okay, let's go. Abby, and this is in order, right? Abby, Seth, and Kobe,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Kobe's the youngest and the bad one.
In the bad one. You've got 2 grandchildren.
Jack and Ellie.
Jack and Ellie. Your lovely wife, Beth. So for you, being the family man that you are, I mean, what's your favorite part of spending time with the family? Does it matter what you're doing?
Well, right now, every Sunday we go to, either they come to my house or we go to Abby's house to watch the Browns games. And we're fortunate that they've been winning. So we do enjoy that.
You had to put that in there, didn't
Well, I am excited about this.
you? Avid Buckeye fans.
Love the Buckeyes.
So last night was not a stellar night in the Leininger household.
The best team won. That Michigan definitely flexed their muscles.
And you have some of the best parties ever known to human society.
Well, I get coerced into doing it with the girls at the Dairy Queen. They want to come up and partake in the Ohio State Michigan games. I used to go to the games.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you were wearing your
the
YSN gear.
I had the YSN hat the one time.
It's actually on your Facebook page, I think, right now.
That might be.
So for you, those big games. I mean, you've been in the big house. You've been down there. I mean, what's the atmosphere like? Is it anything like anything you've ever done?
I think Michigan atmosphere is the craziest one.
The big
ever.
house.
Because you're right. They're right on top. They're 10 feet away from the field. I mean, I love Ohio State. I hate Michigan, but Michigan has the best time. We have the best time when we go up there, me and my buddies.
We're gonna have to go up there one of these days. I call the national championship just from a standpoint of I felt like it was all being written for Michigan. I mean, if you're making a DVD from Disney or whatever it may be, it was like it had the ebbs, the flows, and the climax at the end. And I thought Michigan certainly was the story of the year. Jim Harbaugh, and there's a lot of Ohio State people that are going to hate me, and you might be one of them. I'm happy for Jim Harbaugh and Michigan. All the crap that they had to go through this year to be able to come out on the other side and battle the adversity and end up with a national championship. If the roles were reversed and that was Ryan Day in that situation, Ohio State fans would be unbearable right now. Just unbearable. Saying about how great.
A little amped up.
But I think it does wonders for the rivalry. You know what I mean? And for a while it wasn't a rivalry. It's kind of like the Steelers Browns. For a while it wasn't a rivalry. Now it is again. So let's talk from your standpoint. I know you love spending time with the grandkids. What is it that you're trying to impress on them? And I know that they're growing up quick.
Good.
Yeah, be good. But for you, how different is it for you to be grandpa than it is dad?
You know, my friends that have grandkids, they always say that's the greatest day in your life when they're born, and they're coming to your house and stuff. And I always thought, oh, whatever. But no, it by far it is. I wouldn't trade one thing away.
And you've been such an advocate for our family and what we're doing in our household with Z and B and for. Is it just something that's in you, just the family aspect?
Maybe my mom taught me that. My mom and dad. DJ brings the kids down every Sunday to the Dairy Queen, and they get to rule. One of them goes out front, hands money out to the customers. The other one will try to make stuff. They rule the place.
No, it's fun.
And when he doesn't come, then I got to call up and chirp at him.
Well, that's true. There's never a Sunday that you don't chirp at me one way or the other. Either you're thanking me for coming for some reason, even though you give my kids free food and free ice cream, or you're yelling at me because we didn't come because we decided to go to church or something like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, we got to put God first, I guess.
God first, Dairy Queen second.
Yes. And the girls at work love it when the kids come down.
Oh, and they're wonderful. They're wonderful. For you, what's the most fulfilling part of what you do? Is it the Dairy Queen aspect? Is it the parts of you taking pictures? Like when you want people, you talk about it all the time from a standpoint, and I hate to bring it up because you talk about when I'm dead, da 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 da. What is your legacy? What do you want people to remember you for?
Well, hopefully I'm fair to everybody,
That's a slam dunk.
Yes. And I did good, and I love the Dairy Queen. It's done well for me, but this picture, working with DJ and the crew here, it's getting to be the very close second, inching on number one.
So when we hang up Gary Leininger and the picture that you shot, what picture would you want us to hang up?
Oh, boy. You know that one from United where that boy was shooting them balls? You used that the other week. I think more so something like that.
The young man with Down syndrome.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had that day for him down there.
He's, I mean, just that day, Dunks for Downs.
Yep,
they do in
that's
Lisbon
what it was.
or United rather. It's an unbelievable, and you go all in on stuff like that. You seem to always capture the moments that people can cherish for the. I mean, that was one of my favorite pictures of YSN. For the last 7 years, but let alone last year. It was incredible.
Yeah, I did like that. But, when I see Charles Marsh and his crew, they
Sure.
always are nice to me. They always talk to me.
Because they know you're the GOAT.
Oh,
They know you're the guy.
I'm not in his league quite yet.
They know you're the guy. The what do we call you? The chief photographer.
Well, my self-proclaimed title is Director of Sports Photography.
Is
for
that what you want to
YSN.
be?
Yeah,
You can be whatever you want to be.
I could put
pal.
that on my shirt maybe somewhere.
I would love to have that on your shirt. We'll get you hooked up. Final thoughts, just from a standpoint of why, if there's any aspiring sports photographers out there that have never picked up a camera before that want to do this, what are some of the highs and what are some of the lows?
Well, we talked about this earlier. The other day I took 1,000 pictures through 700 of them
Yeah.
away. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes they're blurry, sometimes they're picture perfect.
And then
Just keep taking them.
So how do you continue to kind of battle through that? And how do you keep it fresh and not just, okay, I'm going to go to a basketball game and I'm going to do the same thing that I did, 2 days ago, 3 days ago?
Last night we were talking about the basketball. It's the same shot. It seems like basketball is the same shot.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking to do something, try to do something different. Sitting on the ground, I like that. I just can't get up real quick.
My favorite's when you're at softball games and you're doing like your belly on the ground and you're shooting like a sniper. Still one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken of you taking pictures of someone else. So, Gary, for those, when does the Dairy Queen open this year?
Sometime in March, end of March. We'll get the Oakley family back down there eating.
We'll have the specials. The delay that you'll put out there on Facebook every day.
We'll put it out
with
there.
the monkeys eating banana splits. My favorite one that you put out there. Gary, I can't thank you enough on behalf of all of us at YSN. Naturally, everybody that pays attention to YSN for the work that you've done, the work that you've yet to do. It is top shelf stuff, and we really, really appreciate it. And make sure that you're going to the SmugMug page, ysn.smugmug.com. And check out Gary's work because there's a lot of it, and it goes back 5-6 years.
At least.
And it'll be there forever. It's one of those things we'll keep Gary's pictures because just like Gary's pictures, Gary is an everlasting part of YSN. And he does this because he loves doing this. He doesn't do it for the financial component. He does it because he wants your kids to be out there center stage. So Gary Leininger, we thank you so much. We didn't even get into, the whole Salem community, how much you guys love.
I do get in trouble from DJ for taking the Quaker pictures.
All the time. Because when you have something as good as you, it needs to be shared. All respect to Salem, you need to share the wealth a little bit. And I think everybody appreciates it because, my goodness, you go on ysnlive.com and you can click for dates. I made up a template. It's called the Gary Leininger template that every time that I have one of your pictures, I just put it up, boom, there it is, and I can fill in the blanks. But Gary Leininger, the fly, snapping pictures, like the
goat's sitting right beside us.
All
here
right,
too.
now we're getting way off base. Gary Leininger, thank you, brother. Appreciate
Thanks for
you.
letting me come on here.
You got it. We'll talk to you. We'll take a break. Back after this on the YSN Power Hour.